the Samuel Doane Street renaming. I think Dr. Hall is here with us tonight. We're going to hear from him again, or if we got some more information from you, Clay.
Well, we did some research on what would be the best way to rename a street. And typically, what happens, some of the research that we've done, is that most municipalities don't formally rename the actual street because you've got post office considerations there. You've also got 911 and emergency considerations and things that we have to go through there. But what typically happens is an area will be named after the person. So we were going through town and we were trying to find a street that I think that's well traveled and would really really be a good place to really show his importance to the community. And the street that we found was Prince William and Somerset. It's right there where the courts are. You've got the Samuel Chase monument there. You've got another monument there, and I believe, and I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but there's also going to be a plaque identifying whether that the final mention in the state of Maryland, which would be right across the street. And I think that area there is a very important area. It's a lot of traffic, and we could rename that street after Mr. Doane. And by doing that, I think that for me, from what I could see, that would be the most public place for it.
What is it to see?
I mean,
as far as renaming.
Oh, so basically, what we would buy a new street sign, and we would have that dedication there. So we wouldn't rename Prince William Street, but it would also be Prince William Street, and there would be a sign above it.
And that's what I was going to say. I know this when they saw it, they had that box on top of the new name.
And I know that there was also a recommendation to name a residential street, rename a residential street. And that's a little different. I think that if we're going to start considering renaming residential streets, we definitely have to have a policy or procedure in place that the residents of that street have a say in it as well. So I really haven't looked into renaming Plantation Drive or having a different name for that, because we don't have a policy in place where the residents actually have a voice in that, and the residents may not want that. There are 9 streets there right now. I mean 9 houses there. So before we do anything there, we definitely have to get some input from the residents.
So just to be clear, if we were to do something where you're talking about with the Sam Doane Way, that's not going to change anyone's mailing address or 911 address or anything like that would have to, incur a cost from residents that have that as an address, something like that. But it would definitely be a very visible place to honor Mr. Doane.
Yes.
Is that right?
And you would do a resolution.
Commission.
Do a resolution.
So,
Now, is that the only spot that you
oh yeah, I think I was looking for the most well-traveled. I thought that was probably everything.
So that's pretty cool. Could I ask Mr. Hall a quick question there? Is there a section in town that was where he was more prominent at, that would be like his stomping ground, so to speak, or something that would be a great place to honor him there?
I think that's what Ms. Anderson just outlined.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Anderson just outlined the most appropriate place for Sam Doane Way.
Okay.
But there was a street called Progressive.
Yeah, Progressive, we know Hampton Avenue has its own history, so we wouldn't want to tamper with that. But it's a street off of Hampton Avenue that's kind of like directed across from the Rosa Park Drive, Progressive Lane. but it is residential. I think it has about 10 houses there as well as like 3 businesses. I think that comes up under that address. So, and that was my suggestion when I was speaking to Dr. Hall, only because I knew that he had residential properties out there, rental properties out on the Hampton Avenue, as well as his store was on Hampton Avenue.
Just as an aside for you, I grew up in New York City, and there are many streets that have dual names in the city along the lines of what you're talking about, Mr. Anderson. 6th Avenue is Avenue of the Americas. Jackie Robinson Highway is the West Side Highway. The highway was officially changed, but the street never was because of the problems and difficulties. I mean, you change a street address, you got to change every license, registration, insurance, it's a nightmare when you start going down legally. So the idea of putting in a memorial street sign is an excellent one, and you're not disturbing even the businesses that have to do all that changing. And it does give honor to the person or the event that you want to give honor to.
Point of clarification, that's Progress Lane out Hampton Avenue. We're talking about not Progressive. And we're basically talking about dedicating the street, not necessarily renaming the street.
Correct.
I shouldn't speak up about this, but I did know Sam Doane also, and he was instrumental in the health department, health center with Scope, where Bailey Jewelers was, has been demolished. There will be a new entrance to that parking lot where the entrance was to the jewelry shop. It will be an unnamed entrance. It will be leading to what is now TLC, which is the future entity of Scope. You could call that Sam Doane Way. Right. Lead right into where he used to, the whole stopping ground. As an unnamed location.
Okay. We've got several good suggestions here, guys. Do we need to continue to think about it a little bit more, or talk back, come back with some more ideas, or we want to go ahead and move forward with? I think there's certainly a consensus here at the table that let's get this done, right? And it's a matter of where and what would make sense. I like that with what Richard just spoke of. That makes a lot of, seems to make a lot of sense. So, as well.
What do you think about that, Mr. Howard?
Well, let me say, I certainly appreciate Mr. Crummer's suggestion. The building, which is located on the property, according to the scope of minutes, historical minutes, his name was supposed to be on the building. His picture inside the building. And I like Brother Anderson. I mean, I like all suggestions. But as long as it's visible to the public, and we have a lot of traffic going through that street, I'll have no problem. I mean, I think we're more intimate in that particular area.
Is that building named after him and got his picture inside or anything like that?
No. Sir.
What?
I think change of the venue, from Scope to TLC, Manchester, different board of directors, minutes were lost, and of that nature. So you have a problem proving it. And Mr. Donald Rue, who was president of Scope Boards for Living, and whether he had mentioned, I don't know. But that's the situation we're in today.
But if you eliminate the entrance there, the entrance going in, maybe something could change.
If we can't get other information, I don't see that. I don't know the better way of doing it.
I would certainly honor him where it started, right?
That's it.
mean, it's up to,
Let's, yeah, I mean, are we for sure, go ahead.
Chief, you know, just talking, and I think there's questions, is this new way on private property, is it a town street?
That's what I was
And if it's not a town street, then I think you have,
that's something we have to find out.
So we need to do a
I
little
definitely
research
would
on
find
that.
that
It's
out.
public or private.
You heard what they said was all? So we need to find it when it's on private property.
Right, because if it's private property, they've got the control.
How about we do this? I'm one to say many times, let's not kick the can down the road, and I'm not trying to do that, but I think if you give us time to do a little research on that, I think.
And do it right.
And do it right. We could come back and make a decision in October which way we're gonna go, be able to go with that, and get this thing underway. You good with that?
It'd be the, yeah, it'd be way next month, we still have to say. I'll find out.
All right, well, thank you for your patience.
Yeah, yeah.